What is going on, gamers? Aevatrex here, and today we have a new monster in Lords Mobile, and that is the Queen Bee. Now, the Queen Bee, it's got a lot of different equipment that it came out, but we'll cover that in another video. I want to go over the best heroes that you can use to take that one down as far as hunting the monster. Now, the damage type is magic, and it is strong against magic heroes, so it has high magical defense. So essentially what you want to do is you want to use physical attackers, and I'll show you how you go ahead and choose those. But let's see what it says. If provoked, the Queen Bee will jab the first target she sees. This matriarch also summons a horde of buzzing bees to drive off invaders. Bring her down with physical attacks before you get overwhelmed. So essentially, like I said, you want to use physical attackers, and here's basically the easiest way to find out what kind of heroes you have that you can use. So if we go to tracker right here and we go to the hero stats, the attributes, this is the physical attack right here, and this is the magical attack. So whenever you see somebody like Tracker with a really high attack, those are the type of heroes that you want to use. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you the team that I am using, and then after I show you, I'll tell you exactly why I'm using that combination. Now, this is a level 1. It is only a ×1, and we'll see the battle and show you what heroes I'm using right now. Okay, so here's the team. I am using Scarlet Bolt, Femme Fatale, Death Archer, Black Crow, and Tracker. And you're gonna see just how much damage they're able to pull off. I mean, we're seeing in some parts you're able to see 50,000, 60,000 crits. It's just an amazing amount of damage. And I believe on this one we're able to down a level 1 with about 8 seconds to spare. I want to see what this Tracker is going to hit for, because usually it hits like a truck. So let's see. There we go, we're still damaging. We got about 13 seconds to go. I'm waiting for that Tracker proc. Here we go, let's see. I completely missed it. I think it was like 25,000, but there we go. We bring it down with about 8 seconds to go. So when you do that, when you have 8 seconds to go and you bring a monster down to 0, that's when you know that you have a really good team for this. So here we go, another level 1. Now we're gonna go ahead and try it again and see if that's consistent, or maybe I got lucky with crits and whatnot. So let's see. Again, we'll get started with the same team. After I show you this, there's a 53,000 crit. That's a huge amount of damage. But yeah, after I go ahead and show you how these battles work out, I will then show you why exactly I'm picking these heroes, and you'll get a better idea of which ones you want to use, because I know, not a lot of people have the same type of heroes, the same type of grade for each hero, so you might want to change a few heroes here and there depending on what grade you have those heroes. But essentially what I'm going to try to do here is just give you an idea of what you want to be doing in order for you to maximize your own damage. So again, we have about 8 seconds to go, and so it is consistent. The first one was 8 seconds, this one is 9 seconds still to go, and we bring down a level 1. Now for a level 2, the first hit with a ×1 was about 24%. The second hit was about 29 to 30%, give or take, and then the third hit was about 33%. So essentially what we're looking at here is, for a level 2, it will take me 4 hits. Now let's go ahead and see the battle on a level 2 and see just how we stack up. Do you need to start using a tank? Now keep in mind that your monster hunt research and your gear is going to come into play. There's a 66,000 crit. I saw that. That was a massive amount of damage. Ooh, my goodness. Now there are a few heroes that I would not recommend as far as this, but depends on the type of heroes that you have. As far as, if they're gold grade, it might be better than a hero that I'm using right now that you might have gray grade. Like for instance, I know that a lot of people might not have gold archer, or not gold archer, death archer leveled up high. So you can use other ones that might be a little bit more popular, but it's just going to depend on what you're working with. But there we go, we're coming down to the wire here. It looks like my health wasn't really a problem. They were able to stay up a pretty good amount. Alright, so let's go ahead then and go over the team and why exactly I am using this team and why it's so effective, why I can take down a level 1 so easily. Now of course, a lot of that has to do with the gear that I have, as well as my monster hunt research, because that goes a long way into adding damage and staying alive and whatnot. But there is also a method to the madness as to why I'm using these heroes. Now, Tracker is a very plain and simple hero to explain. I mean, essentially, Tracker does a ton of damage, a lot of direct damage and a lot of physical damage, but one trait that she has is Outrage, which increases her crit by almost 200, which is huge for those 60,000 crits that you see. And then, of course, the Fatal Shot that does 10,000. When that crits, we're looking at massive damage. So that's why I really like Tracker. She doesn't really bring much else to the table, but the damage is just absolutely huge. Now, the other one that I am using is Scarlet Bolt. Here's the main reason why I'm using Scarlet Bolt. This arm is going to do physical damage, which is exactly what we want. We don't want any magic damage. Exterminate does more direct damage, so again, we are going to be stacking the damage. But here's where it gets really interesting with her. Dismal Aura reduces defense by 120. So not only does that help her damage, it's going to help your whole team's damage, because she's going to be reducing the monster's defense, which is already low, keep in mind. But she brings something else to the table, and that's with her ultimate, which is Backstab. Take a look at that. It deals 6,000 physical damage, but guess what? It reduces defense by pretty much 400 more points. So at this point, she's basically going to be lowering the defense by herself by about 540, which is huge. It helps your whole team out, and that's why I really recommend her. Now, the other one is Death Archer. Again, I know that a lot of you might not have this very leveled up, but you still might want to give her a shot. Venom Shot does a lot of physical damage over time. She's like a ticking bomb. She doesn't heal a lot of burst damage, but in the longer fights like these, she does a ton of damage. It all adds up. Toxic Blast, again, it deals physical damage, and then per second she's going to be dealing a lot of damage. But here's where it gets interesting. Hunter's Instinct increases attack by 480. Now, that is already a huge amount, but when you take into consideration how much the Queen Bee's defense is going to be lowered, that means that she is going to be hitting really, really fast. Now, Sleek Facade, that's dexterity by 240, and then, of course, you know, more damage from her, which is all physical, by the way, so that's an extra plus. The other one that I am using is Black Crow. Black Crow is similar to Tracker. She brings a lot of physical damage to the table. Achilles Shot, Arrow Rain, that deals a lot of damage. Vengeance increases her own attack by 162, which again, when you're stacking defense debuff on the Queen Bee, it adds up quite a lot. But here's where it gets really interesting with her. Piercing Arrow reduces defense by 420. So keep in mind that we already had a lot of defense reduction from other heroes, and this is going to do even more reduction, which it's just going to make your whole team deal a lot of damage. When you stack all of these defense reductions and it stacks the right way and at the right time, that's where you see the 70,000 crits, which is absolutely insane. And the last one that I'm using is Femme Fatale. You can pretty much see a pattern of why I'm choosing these heroes, what they do, but we'll go over Femme Fatale. Now, this one, Whip Dance, it deals physical damage, exactly what we want. Here's where it gets interesting. Swift Maneuver deals physical damage, but it also reduces defense by 453. Again, that is a lot of defense that we're lowering, and it's going to make everybody hit that much harder. Now, Feeding Frenzy increases life leech by 360. That's not really as bad, or actually I should say as good, because it doesn't really add much damage and whatnot, but it does keep her alive. And then Bloodshot, which increases Pierce by 180. So all in all, you're basically seeing here that I'm choosing really high attack heroes, but not only that, I'm also focusing on reducing the defense, which is going to add a lot of damage. Now, if you don't have some of these heroes that I'm using, there's perfectly other heroes that you can use. Like, for instance, you can use Demon Slayer, but keep in mind that he does do physical damage, but he does not lower any sort of defense. He does lower magic defense, but that's not really going to do much for us in this case. Another one is Trickster. Again, he deals a lot of attack damage, but he does not lower any sort of defense, so that's where you might start to lack. Shade also does a good amount of damage, but then again, does not lower defense whatsoever. So these are some heroes though that you can use, but expect the damage to have a drop off just because you're not going to be lowering the defense. If you can use a combination of some of these heroes, then I would suggest you do it. But all in all, I think that this one is fairly similar to a lot of the other ones that have high magical defense. So if you already have a team that you use for physical monsters, that you use physical heroes, this is one of the ones that you want to do that once again on. But that's really why I'm using these heroes. Now, are they completely the best to use ever? I don't know, but they're definitely showing me the best results with the heroes that I have. So that's the one I'm recommending. Go ahead and test yours out, see what you can do, and let me know if you find a better combination. Maybe I'll give it a try. But yeah, the next video we'll go ahead and go over the armor sets and the weapon sets that the Queen Bee has to offer. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and until later, bye.